Okay. Okay. It sees me. Oh, look at that. It can see me. Look at us. Hey, but
Suddenly my self-confidence has dropped since you're not flirting with me anymore.
yeah. Screen report. Kyle F. Nash with the Jack Daniels, I think, right?
Negative. Captain Morgan private stock.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
That
Well,
has been my jam for some time.
so as I was recording, actually in real time, actually, you guys won't know this because we were doing a podcast and all that. We literally just got off recording. We were both guests on the Hello podcast. We've been doing all season long. Being, of course, and now we are trying to scroll through and do this podcast. I've been going at it today with shows.
Yeah,
And
wah.
I'm at the tail end now finally. Well, all one day though. This is all one day while being a
Just
parent.
be a professional and goddamn perform. Jesus.
And just do it, baby. Let's do it. So I'm not complaining about it. I enjoy this.
No, I know you don't. Yeah, you're only acknowledging that the human body does have a certain level of only a certain level of resilience, and that you knock on the edge of that resilience for the sake of your fan base.
Speaking of real time, I got my wife just got home from work and she texted me that I'm home and OC is peeing on the floor. That's my dog.
I see. Well,
anyway,
I thought he was named OC in tribute to Josh McDaniels.
No,
that's been confusing.
OC when you were a New York Giant, two sacks Super Bowl 42. That's for the record. Anyway, let's get to. There's only a few things I'll talk about today on this podcast. College playoff bracket. We find all the 4 teams in order: 1, Alabama; 2, Michigan; 3, Georgia; 4, Cincinnati. Natty got in. They got in. High water. They got in. Any gripe here?
My gripe is very simple, and I'll be consistent because I said it this way on the Huddle podcast as well. Bing! If you believe that Bama should have been 2, I don't have a problem with you. But these are the correct 4 teams, and the reason why you have the correct 4 teams is there is precisely zero justification that any other team could have really cracked the top 4. I mean, really, what's making this whole entire thing possible in the universe is that Cincinnati just happened to play and beat Notre Dame by double digits, while Notre Dame simultaneously did not have a conference championship game in which to show out.
Yeah, I have zero problem with this order. This is what I predicted after Saturday's results. A conference championship Saturday, it played out the same way. I thought it could have been maybe some drama in 1 and 2. Maybe Michigan's on top of Alabama. But honestly, when you look at the strength of schedule, Bama wins that battle there too. And I'm sorry, but Alabama beat the best team in college football up to this point, and beat them soundly.
I mean, yeah. And let's not go crazy with this prediction stuff, EJ. It was 50-50 because the 2 possible results were Bama at 1 or Michigan at 1. Everything else was going to hold. Right. Literally no other way it could be done.
I don't think anybody can honestly argue the 4 teams in general. Like, I mean, there's no way. Oklahoma State did the job for us on Saturday.
I mean, bro, imagine the irony to all this is the one, I think, arguably the most unanimously agreed upon college football playoff quadruple that we've had since 2014 is the one where the damn G5 gets in. But Kirk Herbstreit wants to try to tell me, oh, there was no conspiracy. That's history.
One of the worst takes I've ever heard in my entire life involving college football. I actually want to read this real quick for the listeners who don't know what we're talking about here. He tweeted about a couple hours ago saying this: after 7 years of bitching and complaining from the vocal minority that the college football playoff system is rigged, and the
vocal minority, that's cute too. But
right, and the quote unquote small guy will, in bold print, will never get a chance. Haven't heard much from you the last couple of days. Everything okay? What's the next conspiracy theory? Can't wait, because that one is history.
It's such trash. First of all, it's not the worst take of all of college football, because I heard someone say that this year's Alabama team was the greatest of all time. That's the worst take.
That was me.
Ding! You're kind of like Jim Carrey, passing gas in the elevator in Liar Liar. It was me, you know.
I can't lie.
I can't lie. Exactly. No, but this is a garbage take. And like, for context, for those who know who Mackenzie Milton is, former UCF quarterback, current FSU quarterback, if you get called out publicly by Mackenzie Milton, you're an a-hole. Point blank, folks.
Mm-hmm.
And it is precise response, and I can quote it because it's a very short quote. Kirk, I love you, bro. This is a bad take.
Because it is a bad take. It's a terrible take. And there's really nothing to say left about this, really. I mean, obviously, I would say it's a little too early to start breaking down who might win, who's going to win, this and that. I mean, right now, the feel is I don't see right now, based on the recent results and the fact that Nick Saban is one of the best preparers in the history of college football, maybe ever, that, Bama does not lose this thing. I saw nothing in that Georgia game that made me think that, Georgia could probably improve on this and maybe they win the game. I didn't see anything that made me feel that way.
We were discussing it on Night Shift with the Black and Gold Banneret. Bing! When we were talking about UCF being named to the Gasparilla Bowl to play against FU. I'm sorry, U of F.
I like it.
and there'll be I forget who it is, but there will be a significant player missing for Alabama throughout these playoffs. So there's that.
Yeah. But otherwise, I'm moving for Michigan the whole thing. But I'm happy since he got in, and I hope we get some competitive games though, because we have not really gotten a lot of competitive. I mean, here and there we'll get like a Clemson Alabama or a Georgia Alabama game that's competitive and whatever. But we've got some stinkers too in this playoff. So hopefully we get some good games out of this these next 3 games.
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned Georgia Alabama. Was there was what was the one that Alabama lost?
Clemson.
Was it Clemson? Yeah, that was a pretty good game.
Was it Deshaun Watson?
It was D-Watt, correct. The one where Jameis won. Oh, wait, no, he got blasted by Oregon.
Shut up.
Oh, God, I keep forgetting you're an FSU fan because you love The Rock so much. Man, you and your fanhood. Go Heat, bitch. No, yeah, I mean the finals games in general are pretty good, but yeah, we've had some stinkers in the playoff or the semifinal game. I don't want to talk too much about that because I don't want to trigger a good friend from the Huddle Up podcast and from 3 Count Thursday, Big Jim Neese, because it involves Notre Dame quite a bit.
Okay, yes, he will listen to it.
By the way, bing, bing. Anyway,
the bing die. Everyone I'm binging right now because my studio, my soundboard right now is currently loading.
Gosh, if only you can get a voice actor to help you here.
I'll
have to do.
If only, right?
Hey, listen, I've been flexing my muscles reading stories to the kids, bro. My Gandalf is off the chain. Anyway.
Another thing called football I want to touch before we get to the NFL. Well, 2 more things actually. Coaching hires.
Yes.
One that stood out for me more than anything else, Mario Cristobol to Miami. I said it was a good hire, although my attitude is that with all these retreads and old alum that have played there or done something there, and people are excited about because the hometown guy, it's cute and all. I want to see results as a someone who watches the game of football. I'm not a UM fan, but someone watching the game of football. I want to see the results. Show some results got the pot. That's my attitude in this whole thing. But I do think it's a great hire. I do think Cristobal is a great recruiter, and that's something that Miami has lacked recently in the last, I'd say, 20 years, and that they could definitely use a boost. And I think, and it's good to see from a perspective of the history of Miami that they're actually finally, after 2 decades, putting some resources towards this program, the football program, for once.
If they win the ACC next year, will you say, "Go Canes, bitch"?
No, never.
What if we made it a bet? Like, no, I'm not going to do that. But if we made it a bet, like,
I'd rather drink piss.
Wow.
Okay, that's a little too much. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, that escalated quickly. Holy snap.
That's a little much, yes.
Oh, Jesus. I was sorry. I got to reset there. Wasn't ready there, James.
Ooh. Too serious?
I almost called you James Christian.
James Christian? No. I don't like crabs anyway. So, ooh, crab legs.
You better say crab legs because I don't want your wife to get the wrong idea. Anyways, no. Listen, I when we talked about it on the Huddle Up podcast, bing. I agreed with you that the Cristobol story in Miami was most compelling because along with him and the fiscal commitment he represents and the buyouts of the other coaches that they represent, there's also been verbal commitments. Granted, to this point, no actual dollar amounts delivered, but of rebuilding of facilities and hiring top level assistants and an actual serious commitment by the institution to truly find a way for Miami is back to actually hold weight sometime in the near future. Now, I'm with you. I'll see it first. But if you're looking for that evidence, in the words of Lester from The Wire, follow the money, right?
Right.
And I think that's a significant first step. I do like the Lincoln Riley concept in USC. Not so much because of Lincoln Riley, not saying he's a bad coach, but everyone else sucks, so there's hope. I do like Freeman at Notre Dame doing his thing because Brian Kelly himself had said, Joel Klatt had mentioned Brian Kelly had said to him that he believed that this team was really going to mature to the max next year, that this year's team was not expected to be all that in a bag of chips. And granted, while they were toppling juggernauts like Toledo, they all are, after all, one place out of making the college football playoff. And who knows, if they had a conference championship game where they could dominate somebody, they might have found their way in. But unfortunately, they're only mercenaries that win the ACC during a pandemic. So there you go.
Right.
And then what was the other story we had? Oh yeah, Brian Kelly to LSU. I love it, even though it looks like it's going to be tough.
Could be. We'll see. I mean, LSU does have recruiting advantages, though. I will say that. They've always had that. So we'll see how that goes. Is it me or does people don't care about the Heisman race this year?
I don't think it's that we don't care about it, EJ. And I was pondering this while I was pouring my drink to prepare. Because I found myself caught off guard with what it was. And I think what the problem was, EJ, is the narrative. We said it on this show, on the Football is Awesome podcast, and on Huddle Up, bing, that a lot of these preseason Heisman picks are not just members of teams that fell apart, but players themselves that did. Like, can anybody even spell Sam Howell anymore? You know what I'm saying? What happened to Rattler? Wasn't he supposed to be a thing? Apparently, Rattler became snake bitten. Hi-oh! So you like that? It was from the hip, son.
From the hip, son. The twice tonight they said that.
Yeah, of course they didn't see the first one. They would have to go to the Huddle Up podcast for that. Bing! No.
Fucking popular now, dude.
I do love that there is a defensive lineman finalist. I think he should win it. We both know he won't. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I at the end of the day, I mean, Bryce Young's gonna get it. I think it sucks that he will. Simply because I don't believe Alabama is that prolific a passing offense per se. And I mean, at least in the past, you've had amazing receivers, Jerry Jeudy, things like that. And I mean, soon enough that like I've been in a game in person and took pictures of him in pregame warmups, back when you did that sort of thing pre-pandemic, right?
Yeah. They call it the good old days.
That's that. But it does look like I'll be getting into press boxes again here soon, potentially for not only my friends at the 3-point conversion, bing, but also at the Black and Gold Banneret, bing, by way of the various Orlando Bowls and the Gasparilla Bowl. So there you go. But there you go. Yeah, but listen, the coaching carousel has been more interesting than the Heisman race. That's what I would. Don't you think so, buddy?
I haven't gotten. There's just no. To me, there's no hype. Maybe it's just me not paying attention to what's going on out there. But very little.
Yeah.
Talk Heisman. Very little talk about Heisman. And maybe it's just me. But and to be frank, Kyle, honestly, not earnest. Not to be frank. To be earnest.
I see what you did.
Yeah, you like that. I do think that there's been a decline of interest in Heisman anyway for the last, I would say 5 years at least.
The pandemic was certainly a reduced one, right?
Yeah, that definitely doesn't help. But I mean, I seen before that. There's been some.
I think it's been because there's been a candidate that we all knew was going to get it.
Yeah, there's no suspense.
Here, it was the opposite. We had no idea who the main candidates were, so there was no race, thus no narrative throughout the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why the hell they're putting a guy from Pitt in the damn finalist list, but whatever. Yeah. So I'll say all the above to say I think the problem with the Heisman is that there hasn't been a race. Like, listen, you're a baseball guy. God help you. But we all know that the steroid home run race rescued the whole league because the ish was a race. Say what you will about, how quickly Sosa fell behind the pack because it was a 3-man race at one point, obviously, for those that don't remember. But McGuire and Bonds saved the sport, it's been said, right?
Right.
Now they're going to have a lockout again. Good luck with that ish. But, yeah, I think it's the lack of a race throughout the season.
Right. Okay. Let's get to it now. NFL, and we're just gonna do this really one major topic because it's gonna center on. We'll touch on these teams as we go through this, and that is the NFL playoff picture, our playoff locks. We are now entering week 14. Like I said, it seems to be, like I said, at least in the NFC, there's definitely a tier. I would say 3 teams: tier 1, Bucks, Packers, Cardinals, and then you have tier 2, of course, Cowboys, Rams, all those teams in the middle, and of course the wild card kerfuffle on the bottom.
Kerfuffle.
Right. But however, in the AFC, not still a mess. Although we're starting to see maybe a little bit of some movement at the top. Some teams start to make some cases to be at least a tier 1 team that's still not defined as yet.
I think it's more teams falling out of the top tier than there is anybody rising, if that makes sense.
I agree with that 100%.
Okay. And that's not a point I made in Huddle Up, but, I wanted you to have something exclusive.
Right. However, though, but even those teams that were at the top pulled a little bit were not really teams we believed in necessarily either. The Titans, for example, and teams of that ilk.
Well, that's one of the ones that are falling out, for your point, too. But, and then also the Bills. I mean, I think we both still believe in the Bills to an extent. Certainly, I believe in them more than other teams, like, I don't know, say the Chiefs. But, pew, 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 pew. That shot's fired. Pew, pew, pew.
I'm getting this thing, Christian. Go ahead.
But yeah, I feel like, the Bills are shooting themselves in the foot. I feel like for a long part of the season, the Chiefs were doing the same, and now they've hit the easier part of the schedule where they're kind of rising up a bit. I feel like we mentioned the Titans, so that fits. I feel like the Ravens took a step back because they're stuck having to play the toughest rivalry the best rivalry in the NFL right now this week and in 2 more weeks, right?
Okay, so before we go any further, let's go there real quick. Let's go break down the NFC first, because the NFC seems the easiest thing to do. So right now, right now, division winners of the NFC right now currently as follows: the NFC West leaders are the Arizona Cardinals. The North, I almost said Central. The North is the Green Bay Packers. Flashback. Tampa Buccaneers are right now the NFC South. Leaders, and of course Dallas Cowboys and NFC East leaders right now. Currently, the 3 wild cards right now, if the playoffs started today, are as follows: they are the LA Rams, they are the Washington Football Team, and the San Francisco 49ers. But of course, once you get past that, there's still one team behind a half game, the Eagles. You still have the Vikings ahead by a full game, along with the Panthers, Falcons, and Saints. Of course, the Giants, Bears, and Seahawks are 2 games behind, but they're not that much chance. We both agree that the division leaders will stay division leaders pretty much.
Yes.
The locks. We agree the Rams are in.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Last week we had a conversation about certain teams confidence wise. I think we were talking about 2 weeks ago definitely at one point the Vikings, the Niners.
Well, yeah, and now that the Niners have beaten the Vikings, I think we both agree that the Vikings are out now, right?
I can't necessarily say the Vikings are out.
Well, Kyle, I hate the 49ers, so I have to give the Vikings a chance.
Because only that, but my God. I mean, you lose to Detroit last week. Of course, the Niners game is a huge loss now because of the tiebreaker.
Right.
So, I mean, it definitely is a hard case to make there. Give me 2 teams right now you have the most faith in right now to lock up 6 and 7 in the NFC of this.
Good hell. Can I reword it to lack faith in the least?
Literally.
Man, golly, you would pose it that way, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I didn't realize the WTF were 6-6 too. God, that threw me off.
Running up.
Slightly. Although I do think they're going to lose to the Cowboys this weekend. That's not going to help them. I really hate the Niners playing the Bengals this week. I think they're in trouble. I'm not going to rule out the Eagles sneaking in either. Damn it. The Vikings are done to me. Losing you can't lose to the GD Lions and hope to save the day. You can't. And their conference record right now being 1-10-1 GTFO. Not going to do it. Wouldn't be prudent at this juncture. I think the Niners have a bit more losing to do still, unfortunately, as one who follows this team. But golly, oh, damn it, Ernest Christian. God, what a stinker, what a stinker this is, that you have the very realistic possibility, Ernest, that 75% of the NFC least can make it into the playoffs, and one of those teams is not the Giants. Man, if you were a Giants fan, I bet you'd be pissed off.
Yep. Yep. Which I am. Blow it up.
Criminy. I'm gonna say that I have the least amount of faith. I'm gonna go chalk right now. I have the least lack of faith in the WTF and the Niners. At the end of the day, I feel like the WTF can win the games that they're supposed to, and I think the Niners are going to sneak up on somebody.
So let's go through the Washington schedule right now.
Yeah. Of course, when we talk about the WTF, I mean the Washington team of football.
So Washington schedule, all 5 of their games remaining are all NFC East teams. Okay? So in order, here we go. In order.
Right.
Cowboys.
Yep.
Eagles. Cowboys. Eagles. Giants.
I mean, so they play the Eagles twice. Like, whoever is going to get in that spot is decided in those 2 games, right? I mean, like,
right. I don't like a Heineke right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
They're winning some decent games against decent teams, the Raiders on the road, and things of that nature.
You don't sound quite as drunk picking the Heineken this time.
No. I have more faith in the Niners to get in because they have the recent history of being able to, go to a Super Bowl, and when healthy, they're frisky as hell. I said that word. There we go, frisky. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna go Washington, and I'm gonna go also San Francisco as well. I think there's a good chance this is gonna hold the rest of the way, but I'm not locking them in though. I'm not locking them in.
No, hell no. I think my best reason to pick the 49ers is that they don't have Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
Ironically, while showing support for the Red Tails. That's interesting, but I digress.
Weird, right? Weird. Okay, let's go to the AFC. That's more interesting. So right now, AFC division leaders right now currently: AFC East, Patriots; AFC North, Ravens; AFC South, Titans; AFC West, Chiefs.
For all the trash you people want to talk all the Ravens, and after all the mistakes you want to talk ish on, they're still leading the toughest damn division in the conference. What's wrong with you people?
And why Lamar, why not being the runaway MVP is probably still the MVP. Right now,
he is the runaway MVP. Everybody else is just goddamn wrong.
Runaway kind of ended 2 weeks ago, but we'll talk about that later. Your three wild card teams right now have started today in order 5 through 7. The Chargers are at 7-5. The Bengals at 7-5. The Bills at 7-5. The Steelers are of course virtually a tie behind them. The Colts at 7-6. Then you have 3 teams at 6-6: the Raiders, Browns, and Broncos. The Miami Dolphins also on fire, 6-7. So
yeah, playing who precisely? Side note.
Remember, I did a podcast on this when they beat the Ravens, and I said, look at the schedule. They could run the table, and they're on the verge of doing what I said 4 weeks ago.
But running the table isn't a very Miami thing to do.
I'm saying up to this point to get 7-7, and we'll see what happens there from that point on.
Yeah, but that's not a very Miami thing to do.
Right. So the AFC. So right. So okay. So here's where I'm at with locks in AFC, and tell me if you follow along with this. The Pats win the AFC East. It's over. I've seen enough. Okay.
No. Here's why it's not outright over yet. Because bear with me, Ernest Christian. Because
you need a schedule to be laid up. I can get to you now.
The Bills have a better conference record. I don't know what their divisional records are. That's where I'm at. Let me check the standings on that because I need to check tiebreakers. Because the division records first, and their division records currently tied, and there's another game between the two teams. So if the Pats hit a skid, because right now New England has played 13 games while the Bills have only played 12, right? So there's some correction in there that could still happen. Technically speaking, they're up a game and a half, which makes it look bigger than it actually is. And because that's the case, and there's still another game between the two of them, if the Pats F up somewhere, that could be problematic for them. Now, I'll grant you they still have the Colts and the Jaguars in Week 17. So I'm pretty sure we can chalk up 17 as one of those wins. That Colts game just became super important to this race, and there won't be a crosswind at Lucas Oil.
And for both teams, too. Not just for the Patriots, but for the Colts.
Absolutely accurate. Yes, thank you. No, great point by you, Ernest Christian. No doubt. But so there's no crosswind to save that ass.
So let me say this then. I think win the East. At worst, they'll win. They got a wild card at this point. Titans. I'm not locking them. I'm not doing it right now.
You have to. You have to lock them because the rest of the division is that effing bad.
The Colts are like the Ravens are a game and a half behind.
Yeah.
The
Bills.
Right. Sorry, a game and a half behind and trending good. Titans not trending so well.
The Titans also have a game against the Jags still left. So there's that.
The Ravens scare me because their schedule is getting a little bit frisky now the rest of the way. So the Ravens schedule is as follows going forward. Browns, Packers, Bengals, Rams, Steelers.
So we've had the conversation. Yeah, that Steelers game's going to be epic, isn't it?
Yep.
We've had the conversation about that Bengals game being uber important, right? Obviously. The Rams, I'm less worried about, to be honest. I feel like this Ravens team, this style of offense, if they get a lead, the Ravens are effed. Or excuse me, the Rams are effed. Like, you know, if the Ravens can control the ball, which is not hard to do when Lamar Demetrius Jackson is your quarterback, right? It's going to be a rough out for them. You know, everybody talks about the Ravens allegedly struggling. Please tell me how they've struggled more than the Rams. But I digress.
Right. So my only so far basically I have two. I'm sitting on two locks right now. Me personally, the Chiefs who win the AFC West.
Still ridiculous. But you're still right. It's ridiculous that the division has gotten to be that bad.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's
right?
what I don't understand. Like, you know, as much as I tell you that they're not a top 10 team because they're not. That division is awful.
Yeah. So
like, what happened? The Raiders were okay. We know what happened. I mean, Chucky got busted. John Gruden got busted with emails. That's what happened to the Raiders. That front office is in disarray, and it's showing on the field. Point blank. Next question.
Here's a better question. Instead of making locks here, does this scenario hold? And if it does not hold, what changes here?
Okay. So, and I believe I said this last week on the Football Was Awesome that that I am not a wimp like you. I'm awful. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 locked teams. Locked teams, and I'm going to go ahead and lock the Bills as well as making the playoffs. I have 6 locked teams then.
Oh wow.
Which means that last spot is going to come down to the Chargers and the Colts. The Bills could still blow it. Obviously, that's a possibility. I'm not there yet.
Let's look at schedule. Buccaneers this week. Panthers. Patriots again. Falcons, Jets. I like the Bills to close the deal here.
Yeah, me too. And honestly, I think I've got them down. Though it is at my peril to do so against Bill Belichick. Duly noted. I have the Bills evening that series up.
Yeah, right? I think. Well, I did pick on the win against Buccaneers this week actually on my picks. However,
I can't blame you for that.
However, if they lose this game against the Buccaneers, I think they will win out rest of the way.
Yes, which would, I mean, that's 10 wins, so they're in the playoffs.
That's actually 11 wins at that point. 8, 9, 10, 11, yeah. 11 and 6.
Oh, wait. So you would have them beating if they lose to, no, you got them beating the Bucs. So they beat the Bucs, the Pats. Yeah, okay, that is 4. I don't have them beating the Bucs, so I got 10 wins is what I'm saying.
Okay.
That tie, if the Steelers didn't have that tie on their schedule against the Lions, they'd be in the conversation right now.
Right, I agree. So basically you're saying it's going to come down to the Chargers and the Colts.
Yeah. And I believe last week I said I prefer to pick the Chargers because of a less difficult schedule.
I have a sneaky suspicion that the Titans and the Colts are going to switch places here. I have a sneaky suspicion.
I would love to see it, Ernest Christian.
There is too many games left on the plate for it to happen.
I would love to see it. I believe that the Titans are the biggest fraud of a team not named Atlanta. As the fraud cons.
I mean, the schedule on paper should be doable. I mean, you look at the schedule like without context, and there's at least 2, maybe 3 wins on the schedule. But the Jaguars just come out could out of nowhere just say, "Hey, you know what? Let's play ball."
They could, but they're a bad matchup for the Jags. Even without Derrick Henry running on the ground, once they get past, to my knowledge. To my knowledge, Shaquille Griffin has been, iffy with his injury status. But if let's say he's on the field, he takes care of one receiver, AJ Brown still goes off, or, I don't know Julio Jones' status, but he's still an issue. I mean, say what you will about Tannehill. He's not used to carrying the load without a good balance. That's clear. But do you need to be that balanced against the Jags? I'm not saying it's impossible for them to pull it off. What I'm saying is they had a pretty good opportunity hosting them when they were here back last month, whenever it was.
The one thing that saves the Titans right now is the Colts schedule moving forward. Now, granted, they got a bye week, which is perfect this week.
Yeah.
But their remaining schedule is very tough. After the bye week, in order, the Patriots,
the
Cardinals,
oh God,
the Raiders, and the Jaguars.
It could be worse. Like, winning that Raiders game is uber important.
Right.
Whereas, I mean, what's the alternative for the Titans? The Titans remaining have the Jags, which is this weekend. No, they have a bye, then they have the Jags. No, wait, the Jags are this weekend. Yeah, I'm right. Then never mind. They got Steelers, Niners, Dolphins, Texans. Okay. So
a little tougher to realize. A little tougher than people give credit for.
Fair.
If you got Derrick Henry, one thing, but if it's not, well,
so here's the thing: we have 2 wins remaining on the Titans' schedule, pretty clearly, right? With the Jags and the Texans remaining,
right?
That puts them at 10. If they win one of the remaining 3, which the Steelers could be that team, they get the 11 wins that I predicted, and they're in.
Because of the tiebreaker, too, also behind.
Yeah, they're also.
Indy has to win out pretty much.
Indy is already down a game in the division, although currently is up a half game in the conference. That's important, but
they have to win out pretty much. I mean, 3 and 4 is the bottom, and that's assuming the Titans slip up a couple times.
Right. Because the Titans have the Jags and the Texans left, they're going to have 7 conference wins there. So if they beat the Dolphins, that's an 8-3 conference record. That's pretty damn strong.
Okay.
And that puts them at 11 wins.
This is too much to handle. I'm going to take the Titans to win the division still, unfortunately, because the optics left in the whole thing. So
hey, I'd lock the Titans next week. You're late to last week. You're late to the party.
You did. I do think, though, confidence-wise, the Colts, I still think making the playoffs. So I think what holds here for me is Pats win the division, Titans win the division. This game against the Browns is huge for the because the Browns, that bad as they've been this year, they're not out of it. I think I'll still lock up the Ravens for the time being, but this weekend's going to be a case of what things could come.
Browns
if they win, the Browns are. I think the Browns will make the playoffs anyway. But if the Ravens lose this game, that it becomes more interesting into the Cincinnati and maybe even the Steelers.
Well, sure, yeah, and we all breathe oxygen too. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought we were saying obvious things.
Well, right now I'm gonna lean on the Ravens and Lamar Jackson to close the deal. Of course, the Chiefs I think win the AFC West. In terms of wild cards, confidence wise, I think the Colts will make the playoffs somehow, some way. They'll get in.
Okay.
Which leaves now 2 teams. I'll go Cincy. I'll go Cincy still. I'll figure it out, and then it comes into one spot. And I'll be honest with you, I can see. That was a huge win for the Chargers this weekend. Huge win.
Yes, huge.
And for perception too, because their main schedule too also going forward.
Very easy.
Giants coming up, Chiefs at home, which they were on the road, Texans, Broncos, Raiders. So if I'm going based on perception, the Chargers might be the 7th seed, or at least the last spot, whatever spot they take.
Starting to sound familiar.
So I got Bengals. Oh wait! Oh shit! Hold on, I forgot the Bills. My bad. Ooh.
I did that last week too.
Yeah. No, Chargers are out.
Chargers are not out because the Colts will falter in their schedule at some point, and the Chiefs winning that Bengals game. Listen, I picked the Chargers last week. I didn't lock them, but I'm not brave enough to lock them this week. But were I a braver man, I would lock the Chargers on the strength of that Bengals victory.
Both in trouble a little bit here. They need to show something next 2 weeks, because the Chargers schedule next couple weeks is pretty easy.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. I see at least 3 guaranteed wins here, maybe 4. So
use the term guaranteed loosely, but yeah, I mean the wins I would pick out here.
Guaranteed. Texans guaranteed, and then you pick one of the Broncos or the Raiders games. You pick one.
Boom. And by the way, the one that they don't win of the Raiders or Broncos, very winnable. Chiefs, very winnable.
Yeah. So I guess we're in the same place.
Despite the fact that the Chiefs are the 5th best team in the NFL, according to some people.
Whatever. Plug away.
See, my favorite thing, and like you guys won't see this if you're listening to it on podcasts, like EJ likes to take in content. Bing! Whenever he says something like that, he pulls away from the mic with his "prove I'm a Giants fan" smile, and yeah, I love doing pods with you so much, dude.
Awesome. Let's plug away, buddy. I gotta go to bed.
Oh yeah, don't we both though? Of course. I am a very tired Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You can find me on Twitter at the SOTG. Find me on Instagram as the same, the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as the same, the student of the game. Check out my writings on UCF football and basketball with the black and gold banneret. Check out my writings for college bowl games and the Jacksonville Jaguars for the 3-point conversion. That is the number 3. Word 3. Yeah. 3pointconversion.com. What's that?
You always do that. Number 3, not the number 3.
The number 3, not the word 3. Yes. Well, no, I mean that's confusing. If you don't tell them, they don't know.
Right. Sure.
You know, it's marketing. Go ahead, bitch. You know.
Don't be rude.
Don't be rude. How is go heat bitch rude? Anyways.
I know. True.
Don't be rude. I'll work on that one. I'll get it right. Check out my pop culture stylings on the Required Reading podcast on the Hilarity by Default YouTube channel with my friend Demosthenes Euclid, where just for you, buddy, where we promise to bring you the great stuff for Christmas as we review Eyes Wide Shut. Yes, a Christmas movie classic. Hey, listen, I'm forced to deal with you idiots that think Die Hard's a Christmas movie. I'm answering back. By the way,
Kidman, the same. Not typically my type of woman, but God, I love her. Nicole Kidman.
I mean, you could do worse.
Yeah, she's pretty hot. And I'm not even like into that type. It's not my type. So, but yeah.
You don't like redheads? What?
No. It's just a little too skinny for my taste.
Oh man, just feed her some cheeseburgers. You can cook, whatever.
True. True.
No, man, I get it. And yeah, of course, check out my work as well with oldschool101.com and A7B in sports with my friend Captain Chris Hill and the Captain and Company Morning Show. Ernest Julius Christian, man. That's how you get it done late at night. And this night class edition of the Student of the Game is done. And so until next time, my good friend, rest well. Class dismissed.